moments, this seems like the perfect track to do so.
Look at how many eyeballs the Truck Series gets when they go to Eldora and race on the dirt. I mean, something different. That's what brings fans in, is that they get to experience something a little bit different. With the Monster Energy Cup Series, it's like, oh, they're at a 1.5 mile track again. Oh, they're at, Pocono again. Oh, they're at Michigan again. And then you get June and July. They might as well just bounce back and forth between Michigan, Pocono. And
my God, they're there like every weekend, it feels like. All right, one last question before we end the show. Terrell Owens, finally, a Hall of Famer. He got his wish, and then he goes back and acts like the Terrell Owens that we knew, the guy that was a cancer in the locker rooms and, quite frankly, just a pain in the ass for nearly every team he played on. Now he's come out and talked about that, not planning on going to any of the Hall of Fame ceremonies, doesn't want to be part of that celebration. Eric, I know I was disappointed when I heard that news. It just felt like this was a moment where he could have maybe shown a different side of himself. Doesn't seem like that's what he wants to do. When you heard the news that he wanted nothing to do really with the Hall of Fame ceremonies, what were your thoughts?
I wasn't surprised. I was equally disappointed, but I also think that it's to be expected, unfortunately. I think at that point in your career, and look, your playing career's over, so I think at that point in your career, you just go and be the bigger person and say, I am grateful to be in the Hall of Fame and at least attend the ceremonies. I'm not saying you've got to put on this big dog and pony show, but go to the ceremonies, be appreciative of the fact that you're a part of football history, despite the fact that, you have kind of two sides to your career, one being the exceptional player that he was. And really, he left a lot of stats unattained because of how he acted and how he was. His playing career maybe could have even been a little bit longer. He could have been a little bit more productive. But needless to say, he was elected to the Hall of Fame. And then you have this other side of this career that he had, which is that he was a pain in the butt. He was a cancer in the locker room. He was a hard teammate. He was an even harder guy to coach. And that just seems to boil over into how he's handling this. So rather than being grateful and having gratitude toward what he's accomplished and being able to look back, he's kind of being the same Terrell Owens that he's always been.
And you should know it very well as an Eagles fan. You saw it firsthand, how it played out and what he did to that team. And you would think at this point that it would be, if you're first class, second class, third class, you're in the Hall of Fame. It's not like there's that many people in there. Why not just accept the moment and think about the fact that you get that around your name? You're there. You have the speech. You get to tell your story. You get to put it in your own words. If you feel like the media didn't portray you the right way, what better opportunity to take the time during your speech and explain that?
And prove it to us.
But instead, you do what we always thought you would, and you're right back to the same guy and the same reasons that you probably didn't get in the first or second time. The same reasons there is you're playing it out now, and you're probably making the Hall of Fame voters go, you know what? We should have never voted him in there in the third class. We should have just made him wait as long as possible because he doesn't appreciate what he's been given. Well, that's a wrap for episode 207. Eric and I will be back in the studio next week. We'll be able to recap the NBA draft. We'll only be a few days away from the start of NBA free agency. Will Kawhi Leonard have been traded? Will we have any more information about where LeBron James is going? Will someone break a story about where LeBron's son is signed to play high school? That was news this week as well. That was a first. We'll have all that and more. We'll have more World Cup follow-up. NASCAR will be back on the road course. There'll be a lot to cover next week as well. So we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Talk Back. Staying current on sports is our number one goal, so we drop a new episode each Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or the podcatcher of your choice. For more info about the show, to meet the hosts, or to partner with us on future episodes, please visit TalkbackFanTalk.com. We really enjoy hearing your take on the world of sports, even when you disagree. After all, this show is dedicated to you, the fans, so get direct access to us on Twitter using @TalkbackJustin and @TalkbackEric. Check out our corporate feed on Twitter and Instagram using the handle @TalkbackFanTalk. We hope you have a great week. We'll talk back at you next time.